Good morning. Today we're talking dangerous intersections. I'm your lawyer, Patrick McGeehan. I'm your best friend at your worst time, and welcome to the Law and Life. I had a couple of emails from viewers. Marcos asked, have you ever investigated a case where somebody burned in a vehicle? Yeah, I was a senior accident reconstructionist for a large police department in South Florida, and I handled several cases where people burned up in vehicles. I had one case in particular I remember where a truck went across the center median, hit a car full of college kids, and pinned them against the bridge abutment, and the car caught fire and they all burned alive. It was a very terrible crash. And next, we have the dangerous intersection question from Natalie, who actually lives in the area of Windsor Hills, and says the intersection of La Brea and Slauson Avenues are very dangerous intersections. They've had numerous crashes there and a couple fatalities. I don't know what the statistics are for that particular intersection. And she asked, why is this intersection so dangerous? So I'm not a traffic planner, but I took a look at the intersection. I'm not really familiar with this area of Los Angeles County, but I took a look at the area. And if you see here, you have the Windsor Hills section, and you see how the roads are laid out here. This is a better grid system. You see how the roads are laid out in a grid around Windsor Hills. And you have four interstates surrounding approximately a 4 square mile area. You have the 405 on the west, the 110 on the east, the 10 on the north, and the 105 on the south. And you see all the grid lines where the roads are laid out in between them. And this goes back to, the 50s, 60s, and 70s when they were laying out cities. And the principle is the longer and straighter the road is and the wider, the more traffic can efficiently move through it. So you have the intersection where this particular crash occurred. You take a look at Slauson Avenue. Slauson Avenue runs between the 405 and the 110. It connects those two. La Brea runs north and south between the 10. It turns into Hawthorne as it goes south and hits the 105. So within a mile and a half to 4 miles, you have four major freeways in that area. Going back to the intersection, you also look at the design of the roadway. Both of these roads that are intersecting are 6 lanes. Slauson Avenue or La Brea Avenue runs north and south. Slauson Avenue runs east and west. And you have the intersection of 6 lanes. So you have 12 lanes of traffic moving through this area. When you take a look at the direction Nicole Linton was traveling, this is her view as she's approaching Slauson Avenue on La Brea. And you could see it's a long, straight, wide road, and you can get a lot of speed up there. When these roads are designed, they make the roads wide and straight to more efficiently move traffic at peak hours. But in non-peak hours, those roads, because they're so wide and straight, you can get a lot of speed up on, whereas you couldn't during, say, rush hour. Now, going back to the intersection, taking a look at it, how could you make this intersection safer? Well, you could make it safer by narrowing the roads, changing the layout of the roads, putting in roundabouts, stuff like that, which traffic engineers study and do. But when you put those in, then the road's initial purpose to efficiently move traffic becomes obscured. If you put, say, a roundabout in this particular area or any other type of device which would slow vehicles down because of the design of the roadway, you'd have a terrible, terrible traffic backup. So it always comes back to, what moves traffic most efficiently during peak hours. And this is the type of roadway that does. Now you could elevate an overpass on one of these roads and put in, on ramps and off ramps, but that's crazy expensive. And I don't see them doing that on a surface street. Of course, you have those on freeways because of the nature of the freeway and the nature of the way traffic moves on the freeway and intersects with surface roadways. But it's not really a viable alternative for a surface roadway. So I hope that answers some of your questions about why this intersection is so dangerous. Basically, it comes down to it's a crowded area. Both roads connect to major freeways, so they're going to have a lot of traffic on them regardless. And as always, the longer, the straighter, and the wider a roadway is, the more traffic that is going to pass on it in peak hours, and the faster the traffic is going to go in non-peak hours. The only other thing you could do to slow traffic on this roadway during non-peak hours is very aggressive um, law enforcement traffic operations. Cops getting out there with speed guns, radars, and lasers, and just writing a bunch of tickets. And finally, the word will get around and people will slow down. But they can only maintain that for so long. Eventually they'll have to move off that detail and go back to other police duties. And after a time, traffic will speed up again. So I hope that answers your question about why this intersection is so dangerous. There's many intersections like that. Um, it all comes down to roadway planning and the way the roads are laid out. Look forward to seeing you again. If you like this type of content and this type of analysis, please like and share and subscribe, most importantly. And until next time, I'll see you on Law and Life. I'm your lawyer, Patrick McGeehan. I am your best friend at your worst time.